share some of the same things we talked about early this morning with you, so that you too could have something to reflect on this Guru Purnima Day. And this morning we were talking about the fact that Guru Purnima Day, while the focus of our attention is on the institution of Guru. Guru is an institution. Human agencies of the Guru force come and go, but Guru is a principle. We talked about that on many occasions. And so even though on today our thoughts turn to our particular Guru, but also it is a day to do more than simply reflect on the Guru, but to add to that reflection a kind of introspection and personal reflection on what have you done with the gift of Nam that was given you. That is something that should be a part of your reflection today as well. We all have been given such a great gift, this gift of the Dhamma. And on these kind of occasions, it's an excellent opportunity to reflect on what have you done with your gift of knowledge. And what would you do with it here after? So my hope is that some of that reflection that comes out of the day will show up in your Kula meetings. Because the greatest insult that we can do to the memory of our master or to our master as they are presently in our life is to not take advantage of and not use the gift. There is no greater disrespect for the Guru than the waste of the Guru's instruction. And so you have to also reflect today and look into your own life and practice and see to what extent you are really honoring the Guru in terms of the bottom line. See, rhetoric is easy. See my point? And I listen to a lot of you all Kula meetings. Very carefully, and you know, in these Kula meetings there's a lot of rhetoric going on. In some instances it's just outright lying. You know, people are checking in and just lying. You know, now I may not necessarily confront a person about it necessarily, but I'm really not that stupid. You know what I mean? I can tell if you practice, or whether you're just lying about practicing for the sake of maintaining your image in the eyes of your fellow Kulamates, you see? Well, that's just wasting the gift of Nam, right? Have you been given the opportunity to engage in a process whereby you may achieve all of the divine possibilities that have been communicated to you by these great realizers, why would you fake it? You see? So you gotta really begin to look and see now, what are you gonna do with this now? This morning we talked about the fact that there is a kind of knowledge that you can only get from going within. You're not going to get it without. You must go within. You can't get it outside. That's the kind of knowledge that the mystics are talking about. The knowledge by which your suffering has disappeared, your confusion has disappeared, and so forth and so on. That kind of knowledge is not knowledge you're going to get in a book, and it's not knowledge you're going to get outside. You must go within to get what the Guru has to give you. You can't get it outside. So this is a day to reflect, really, on what you have done with your spiritual opportunity that has been given to you in the form of your initiation. That's how we celebrate our Guru. We use the stuff. Everything else is just bullshit. It's just peripheral. Theater, mumbling, posturing. So I wanted to remind everyone what's it all about. We honor our Guru by doing the practice. That practice that leads you within. But you got to go within. You're not going to get it outside. This morning we talked about really reflecting and seeing, are you serious about this thing? Or are you doing religion? So if there's any clarification you need about it all, we have a moment or two. You know, whenever we are gathered together, that's always an opportunity for us to get clear about it all. So you have to reflect on all of this here. What are the personal changes you got to make for the sake of making right use of your initiation? So something to say about it? See, the gift that Maharaji and all these things come and give us, they give us the gift of the truth. That's a great gift. And the truth, in fact, does set you free. But you must accept that truth, react to that truth, adapt to that truth. And one of the truths that the mystics give us right out the gate is that you got to change. You really got to change. There's some stuff about you. You actually got to change. You can't cover it up. You can't hide it. You must change. No fooling, no kidding. So you got to look into all of this matter and see about that, because you really do have to change. Most of the breakdowns that you all confess and in your cooler meetings are breakdowns that are just really, in many ways, grounded in your flat-out refusal to change. You got to change. You see. I mean, consider what you're trying to pull off, Maud. I used to describe it as the transformation of a puny human being into a god. That's not being bad. You follow me? That's a serious ordeal. So how will you transform yourself from a puny human being into a divine being? Without changing. You really got to change. No fooling, no fool. You got to change. Not let somebody change you. You got to change. That's your work. Otherwise, we make a mockery of it, don't we? And I don't think anybody sitting here came onto the path just to waste their time. To create a kind of myth about yourself. But it's just a myth. I'm always reminded of one of the things that Baba Mukananda says so beautifully. He says that what he got from his guru brought him alive. It was his alive day. I always thought that was a real powerful and very poignant metaphor. He became alive. Before, he was just dead. He was just going through motion, mumbling. Do you want your whole life to be just a memory? Or do you want to become alive? That's what the gurus come to give us that knowledge by which, if followed, if applied, you become alive for the first time. Raising you from the dead. I'm raining on you all's parade. Y'all having a good time. Baradaji was singing and they were harmonizing. The rotation was back there harmonizing, popping his finger, and Tina was bouncing and dancing. And here I come, and it just ruined the night. But you know that was bound to happen, right? It wouldn't be Guru Purnima if that didn't occur, right? So we can talk about it a little bit. Yes, beloved.
Master, you say change, and what comes to mind for me is some of the things that I used to do.
I still do it. I still do it.
From the outer appearance.
Yes.
But internally, it's still the same.
Right. You know, when the saints talk about that, the 5 perversions and all of that, that's not a suggestion. That's an injunctive. You see, you're not going within. You do a lot of other things under the sway, but you ain't going within. And there is this kind of knowledge, divine knowledge, or what the Buddha called prajna paramita, this knowledge that liberates you, moksha. That knowledge you can only get within, and nobody can go within for you. It's therefore called personal knowledge. You know, you can only get it if you go within. And you're not going to go within unless you deal with all of those things that are obstacles to going with that. And there's many of them, but certainly we all know about the negative states of mind and so forth and so on. All that is to be engaged in, not really to make yourself a better human being. It ain't about self-improvement, you see. This is about going within. That becomes absolutely necessary. But you do know, and not long after we're on the path, we all know what we got to change. You know, it's just some things you got to change. You got to change it. This ill will, for instance. They always talk about how ill will, hatred, greed. Well, ill will is an obstacle. You're not going to go within. You can become a scholar out of your ill will and all these other things, but you're not going to go within. That ain't going to happen. Your mind is full of ill will. That blocks the way with that. And what is this ill will, you see? It's the opposite of metta, what the Buddhists call metta, goodwill. How much goodwill? You follow what I'm saying? Do you really have toward other people? You ain't got no goodwill. You know, full of ill will. That has to be dealt with. I mean, there's many things, you know. These again are just add this to your list, your very long list of all the things we talked about over all these years. You know what I mean? This is just more work for you to do. I'm piling up more paper on your desk. You know what I mean? But you got to get down to some business. You know what I mean? So this ill will has to go. It blocks you from going within. And remember, what I'm saying is that what you're looking for, you can only get within. There is no other place you can get it. You simply must go within. And I don't know if that resonates with you. I don't know if this way of language has any impact at all. You know? What I'm trying to say to you is that you must actually go within. You're not going to talk yourself into that condition that you got initiated to achieve. That ain't going to happen. You actually got to go within. And you can't enter into the kingdom of heaven. You see? With all that baggage. The Buddha, all saints talk about the compassion, you know? See? They tell us what is required. Now we got to look and see what our deficit is. You know if you ain't got no compassion, right? Don't you know that?
Yeah.
Do I have to tell you that? No. You know. You see my point? But rather than get down to the business, you know what I mean, of doing that, which will really transform you into a compassionate being, you bullshit. And you faking it. You ain't going nowhere. You're just wasting time. Now, to really become a compassionate person, you got to change. That very thing about the self that is blocking you from becoming compassionate. Principally is self-concern, self-possession, preoccupied with yourself, the ego I. You see? It's not surrendered. And it gives rise to all these other obstacles. You see? You're just selfish. You see? And you know you're selfish. And you just persist in it, make up excuses for it, rationalize it, you know, lie about it. But you're selfish. You're not going within in that kind of selfish condition. Who you kidding? Who you think you kidding? Are you following my argument? So these things are things that we all know, but we really have to wake up out of this fantasy we got about it. You know, we have a lot of spiritual fantasies here. And part of the greater part of the guru work is dealing with our fantasies, de-fantasizing us, disillusioning us about what is really required to achieve that Sutapana fruit, to achieve that goal. So Guru Purnima Day is an occasion whereby we can really kind of do some kind of self-evaluation and self-assessment and really see what am I really doing here? With this chance I've been given, really. So that's where it gets very personal. But you got to change. And everybody here knows exactly what it is you have to change about yourself. I don't even have to tell you. You know it already. You got to do that. Anything else about it? I mean, how do you use a guru? How do you be a disciple? You know? I mean, these are questions that I guess are very akin to, well, how do you be a mother? Or how do you be a father? How do you be a husband? Or how do you be a wife? You know what I mean? What qualities must we cultivate? What changes must we make in our life? For instance, if I'm going to be a husband, then that means I got to stop running the streets, stop running around with women. I mean, it requires a real change, doesn't it? Well, what changes must you make to become a disciple? You just can't arrogate discipleship to yourself. You know what I mean? Right? That's delusional, isn't it? And you don't become a disciple merely by virtue of having been initiated. You got a chance to become a disciple. Just like you don't become a husband just because you go down and sign a license and utter a few words. That don't make you no husband. You know what I mean? That's a whole different process, isn't it? And all of us have gone through very similar things. I mean, that we're fathers and mothers in here and so forth. So we know a little bit about that, right? When you become a father, you know what kind of changes you had to make, you know, to really be worthy of calling yourself a father. We all pretty much know these things. Well, what do you need to do to be a disciple? If we have a guru, that means I'm a disciple. If I have a guru, don't mean I'm a guru, it means I'm a disciple. Don't get it twisted. Think you got a guru. Oh, nah, I'm a guru. I got a guru. I'm a guru too. No. No. You see. You got to be a disciple. How you going to become a guru and bypass discipleship? How you going to do that? With a straight face. That ain't gonna happen. So on Guru Purnima Day, it is an occasion that provides us with an opportunity to really examine our whole condition as a disciple go into all of that. Y'all don't want to talk about this? Huh? So to become a disciple, you got to change those things that are kind of productive to all of that. Just got to change. You become a husband, you can't go out here gambling and just pissing your money off any way you want. You can't do that and be no husband. Are you with me? That ain't how that goes. You're still a bachelor. You see? You're still single, trying to function like a married person. That ain't gonna work. Change. All right, you were used to sleeping 12 hours. You're a disciple. All right, you ain't gonna sleep no more 12 hours. You got to change. How you gonna continue to sleep 12 hours and do some practice? You got to change. Now I try to figure out how I'm gonna do my practice and sleep 12 hours. You understand what I'm saying? No, you got to change. How can I be regular and punctual and stay out all night? I mean, that's all. That's a dilemma you can't resolve. Do you really want to be a disciple? I mean, really? Or do you just want to fake it? I don't know if this is making any sense.
Oh, yes. This is making sense.
Is it making sense? So, what have you done with your nom? What have you done with your gift of initiation? What have you done with your guru? What are you doing with your guru? So, what do you got to say about this? You look like scold children. You know what I mean? I don't intend to scold you. I'm trying to stimulate an adult conversation here, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, beloved.
One of the things when we met this, after you left and we started the school meeting, we started going around sharing with one another, and one of the things that came up was what I had mentioned to you before about the investigation about this eye and the root cause of, or the main or the core obstacle, which no matter where I go with any consideration or anything that I do, it always comes back to the problematic eye.
The ego eye.
The ego.
Versus the the pure eye, the true self. Yes. And one of your topic would be on surrendering of the ego eye. Don't want to miss it, folks. You can get your tickets right after this meeting. Don't want to miss that show. Yes, you see, this is all saints have said, across all time, all culture, the single greatest obstacle to going within is the ego eye. It must be surrendered. All of the other obstacles have their roots in ego eye. This preoccupation with me. The you that you are experiencing yourself as being is the obstacle. It must be surrendered. You're not meditating because the ego I don't want to meditate. It's really that simple. And either you're going to do what the ego I dictates, or you're going to do what the guru dictates. And that's how that goes. And you don't want to surrender. Surrendering involves all kinds of things. Certainly, it involves this concept that we were talking about before, changing. Surrender involves some changing. Changing is, in some sense, an aspect of the surrendering of ego I, isn't it? Because ego I doesn't want to change. It doesn't want to surrender its old accustomed way. It doesn't want to give that up. So I'm not going to steal your thunder. I'll let you go into all of the nuances of that argument and consideration. But yes, and one way of looking at it is the death of the ego I, the body-mind self. The saints say you have to become like a dead man in the hands of the Lord to be helped by the Lord. Just like a dead man, Roger Ritter can appreciate. He just like wherever you put him, right there so nice. When you turn him over, you just let him right there. When you get back, you go have coffee, have a cigarette, come back, and your good old corpse is right there where you are. That's his problem, you know. He's so used to dealing with dead people, he don't know how to handle alive people. You know, he look around and Mukherjee ain't where he's laughing. He gets confused and flustered. Well, Kabir Sahib, the saint, said that we have to become like a dead man in the hands of the master. Wherever way he turns us, that's where we turn us this way, which turn us that way. That way, something can happen. You see. But I don't want to get too esoteric, you know. I want to kind of stick to this business of going within. As long as you think you can get something without going within, you're going to be distracted from the real side of it. So I'm not feeling that you all, or that's not your fault, I'm not feeling that I really have been able to make this argument in any kind of powerful sense here tonight. You know what I mean? I'm not sure about how to even language this thing. All I can continually say is that you have to go within. You're not going to get it without. It's not something you're going to get externally. You have to go within. There's a kind of knowledge that nobody can give you. That's the knowledge the mystics are talking about. It's not a knowledge that anybody can give you. You can't take notes at satsang and get that knowledge. It can't be given. Can you conceive of a knowledge that can't be given to you?
No.
Yeah, and that's because our presumption is that that's how you get that, you get it like that, right? And there is a kind of conventional knowledge and so forth and so on. I mean, knowledge you get from education and so forth. But this spiritual knowledge, this gnosis, can't nobody give you that. The guru cannot give that to you. You see? The guru can point the way, give you some support, but the guru can't give you that knowledge. It is a kind of knowledge that you can only have firsthand. There is a kind of knowledge that can only be had firsthand. Can't be had second hand. You simply must go with it. That's what the mystics are calling knowledge. That's jhana. That's jnana. That's the prajna paramita. Can't get it any other way. I think one of the barriers to that relentless pursuit of going within, one of the real barriers to that is the presumption that you're going to get that kind of knowledge without going within. There's a kind of unspoken, presumption that I can get, I may not get it all, but I can get a little bit of that knowledge without going in. No, you cannot get any of that knowledge, not the tiniest bit of it, without going within. You can read mountains of books, and you're not going to have one iota of that kind of knowledge. Are you feeling me? As long as you don't voodoo dance, we ain't gonna mess with you. Because you scare people. Next time you get like, just throw some water on it. If you can understand what I'm saying here tonight, It'll free up a lot of your energy, time, and attention that is being devoted to some kind of external search for that knowledge, which can only be had by going within. There is this divine knowledge that every human being can have, but the condition is you must go within to get it. The value of the guru is that the guru can show you the way to go within. Can't go within on your behalf, but can show you the way. Point you in that direction. Inspire you, so forth and so on. It's almost like knowing that you are awake. Nobody can give you the knowledge of being awake. Are you with me?
Yes.
There's no way. So if what I'm saying is the case, what are the implications of that for you and your present spiritual strategies?
They're not gonna work.
They're not going to work. How many going to try to go within? Just one, two? No, I'm only teasing. But really go within. All right, I'm babbling here. I don't intend to do that. I'll leave it up to you all to clarify during your cooler meeting. Yes, beloved.
The ego eye that you just spoke about, you know, I can see intellectually that that's what's in the way. But for me, and I'm not going to say other people are feeling this way, it's this fear. It's this fear of going inside and truly finding what the mystics say is this fruit that we all want. And is that fear born of this ego eye that doesn't want us to find it, or is it something else?
No, the ego eye, the egoic condition is characterized by fear. It's really, you know, it's almost wrong to say the ego and then there's something else. No, it's the ego talking. That is the ego. The thing that says, well, I can intellectually understand how the ego eye, that is the ego eye talking about itself. It's really that deep. That's why Swamiji Maharaji was saying that without the aid and the help of the guru, there's no way out of this entanglement. Now, that doesn't mean that the guru can go in on your behalf. You understand what I'm saying? But the understanding, the clarity that is required to come out of that kind of confusion and so forth. Without the guru, we won't get that, because that's the whole point. That's the light that shines into this confusion and clear up this mess. But this ego I is who you feel you are. The you that you are experiencing yourself as being. When you say, but for me, that thing that you're referring to, that's the ego I. You see? Talking intellectually about the ego I. You know what I mean? Right? But that's the real ego I.
Yeah, but also feeling. I mean,
Oh yeah.
feeling the fear in a very acute way.
Yes.
You know?
All of it. Now you're really seeing why this surrendering is so difficult. When you don't understand. Please make a note. Surrendering is only difficult to the degree that you don't understand. When understanding is there, surrendering is non-problematic. You see? Such is the importance of understanding. It is a radical understanding. But you're absolutely right, Janmaji. This that I call me, that's the ego. Just me. This me really consists of not just your body, but your opinions, your so-called knowledge, how you think it should go, what you want to do, your desires, your likes, your dislikes. It's a composite, you know what I mean? At this level, let's say, for instance, of the likes and dislike aspect of the ego I, that's where the conflict between guru and disciple comes in. Because you like to sleep 12 hours, and the guru says you got to sleep less and do this practice, you know what I mean? Even when the alarm clock goes off, we get back in that bed because we got to get us another 20 minutes of sleep. You know what I mean? That 20 minutes has to be sacrificed to be on time. Are you with me? Which means you have to sleep less. Right? But we don't want to do it. The me don't want to do that. Right? Because that's not what I like doing. So that's the thing. And that has to die. That has to die. What makes you dead in the master hand is the realization is that you don't know the way. You really don't know the way. You really don't know the way. You don't even know what's best way. You really do not know what you think you know. You think you know a great deal, but most of it ain't true. You see? Now, when Sadhananda was sharing with you the outcome of his consideration that we were having, one of the things that you have to do is to see that you don't know. Right? You don't know how to be happy. You really don't know. You think you do, but you really don't know. You will know it if you will simply look at the outcome of what you've done based on what you think you know about being happy, and look and see. Has it produced it? And you will find no evidence of it. So clearly you don't know what you're doing. You follow me? That's why denta, humility, is so necessary. Without humility, it's very hard to be helped, because you figure you don't need no help, to be happy. You got this. So it's a kind of radical understanding here. Each one of us have to kind of work through that, So everybody has to find their way through this kind of maze. And a lot of times that's what we do when we have our personal conversations. We meet and we talk. I'm trying to help you work your way through this labyrinth. You know what I mean? Because everybody's a little bit different. But overall, that's what it's coming down to, you see. You don't really know what you think you know. Especially about being happy. Nor do you know what you think you know about being spiritual. You don't know that either. You see. Now, when you really understand that you don't know something, it makes you receptive. I don't know how to drive from here to New York. You know what I mean? I don't know where I'm lost. I'll ask somebody, which way here, because I don't know. That's what would make me stop and ask. Well, most men ain't gonna stop and ask shit. We figure that we got a special man faculty that can navigate anywhere, right? But when you realize you don't know something, that's itself is a sign of progress, don't you think? But the me gets in the way of that. But for me, it's like this. I can see that it might be like this and might be like that, but for me, you see, what you're doing, you're making my knowledge trump all other possibilities. You are elevated. You see? And it's mostly fiction. I can understand how having money might make some people happy, but for me, you know, that ain't gonna make me happy. I need so and so to be happy. But look at all of the things you have proclaimed that by having you will be happy based on the certainty of me. That ain't produced nothing. So it's the me. But for me, I like that, John. That's your next topic. When you give savor, make a mental note. The but for me Dhamma. Okay? Because that's exactly what it is. Because that's what ego does. It makes itself apart, set aside, exempt from, separate from, different, you know. You see? Yeah, I can understand how that's true for every other human being on the planet. But for me, that's true for 7 billion people, but for me, I'm different. I'm separate. That's it. That's it. It's real subtle. It's real subtle. And we do it with everybody, and we'll do it with the guru, you see. I can see how meditation could really result in you becoming enlightened. But for me, right? Right? Yeah, but for me. I think. You know what I mean? Like I said, it is, but I think it's, you know, it's the I think, but for me syndrome. We have to accelerate this talk. You gotta roll with this, baby, while we got a window of opportunity, huh? The I think, but for me syndrome. Yeah, I can see how you have to be regular and punctual, but I think that but for me, I don't see. I can understand that you're doing the song, and I understand that whole theory. But for me, well, I think that's not necessary.
That's just true for you.
You see, that's that. That's that ego eye. Reigning supreme.
Don't put me in there.
That's what's so subtle. That's what's so subtle. That's what you gotta get. That's what you keep getting caught in the trap. You fall into the trap.
But it's not
see?
ongoing.
Yeah.
I tried to tell him.
You maybe I'll bring a box of all y'all cooler tape, but y'all, all you'll hear is I think, but for me. It's a thread that runs throughout that whole thing. You know what I mean? You see, they take in turns saying their I think, but for me dialogue, you know. They never get to the consideration because, you know, they think that so this is the thing that you gotta deal with. That's what must be seen and gone beyond and understand. In Sufism, they say if the Guru says that snow is black, then snow is black. Okay, what your senses tell you. You know what I mean? 'Cause you can't trust them either. I mean, it's true. You know, your senses do not report reality. Anybody, any schoolboy, schoolgirl, science student knows that. It distorts reality. It creates an optical illusion, an image, a distorted image at that. You know, you're not seeing any atoms, you know, with these eyes. And atoms are reality here. You see? But you believe in me. Not this me, that me. You believe in me. I believe in me. This trumps the Quran, trumps the Bible. It's me. Meism is supreme. As if you know something. See, it wouldn't be so bad if that was of your unflagging devotion to and conviction about me had some substance to it. You really don't know what to do in order to be happy. You really don't know what there is to know in order to be happy. You really don't know. And you have acted on a lot of your I think this, I think that, and none of that has produced happiness. And yet somehow or another, in the face of overwhelming evidence that you don't know what you're doing, you still persist in the presumption that you know what you're doing. That's the entanglement, you see, that you can't get out of. You see? So the Guru almost have to come in and fight with us, do a jihad with us, to, you know, to get us to say, you don't know shit! That's to shake you. I do know, I do know, you don't know, I do know, you don't know, I tell you, I know. God damn it, I know! I ain't coming back to South Africa. I quit! Because I know! Oh, God, it would be funny if it wasn't too tragic. So following the knowledge, the me-based knowledge, has only produced suffering. All right?
That's an understatement. No, it's not only does it continue to facilitate and perpetuate my own suffering, then I'm amnesia.
Yeah, you forget. Yeah.
I hurt myself.
You can get Firebirds. 2 minutes after you take her head out. Oh, shit, you been in bird. 2 seconds later, you still, You're absolutely right. Chronic amnesia. You forgot the last time it didn't work. You forget what happened last time. And this is how we live. You know, this is how we live. You know, if you want to call that life. Yes, beloved, first Guru Dasa had some.
No, I was just stretching.
You don't want to throw in what you think you know? Now, you know, you famous for that. If you go to that cooler meeting, you gonna get you a belly full of what you know. And she'll tell you what you know. The woman bad. She's bad. Yes, beloved.
Back to this change. It's like everything I want to do, I should do the opposite of that?
In your case, yes. Can't go wrong because everything you've done is wrong. As long as it logically follows that you do the opposite, sort of like George Costanza.
Yeah.
You're a George, man. No. Even if you do the opposite of what you think, it'll still be wrong. Do what the guru tells you to do. That will be right. You see, you're not able to do anything right relying on your own ego mind. The ego eye is unreliable, don't you know? I mean, don't you see? So, even when you thought that you done something right, it turned out wrong, right? You be nice to Tina, bring it home, and you think you're doing it right. Hey, you still in the doghouse. There you go. See, that's proof. Even when you do what you think is right, this shit is wrong. Didn't need me to tell you that. You got a wife. You do what the guru instructs you to do. And you do not rely on your mind. Based on a profound observation of what has happened when you have relied on your mind. And you don't have to invent anything. And you don't need to read a book to find that out. Just set your life in the palm of your hand and look at it without making a myth out of it. See it as it really is. Set aside your delusional thinking. Set aside your wishful thinking. Set aside your hopeful thinking. Set aside your idealism of how your life should be or could be. Look at the actual result of your thinking. You should be convinced of that, right? Right. I just straightened you out today, right? Huh?
I mean, when you do that, I mean.
What a mess, right? You scared to ask yourself anything, right? If you knew how incompetent your mind was, you wouldn't rely on it for 1 second. Not one single, you wouldn't rely on it for nothing. It's totally unreliable for finding the truth. Your mind, your ego mind. Unreliable. Couldn't see the truth, it was right there under your nose. Blind. What else could you call it but delusion when you can't see what is perfectly obvious here? All of your me-based knowledge and strategies have failed when it comes to essential things like happiness, peace of mind. See, you've developed no virtues out of it. Right? So what's its value? So you clinging to it because you think it's something valuable. But look, just look. This looking and seeing is so important. You got to look and see. First, gather the courage to look. And then a little bit more courage to really accept what you see. It is so. Your life is a reflection of your egoic mind. And so you can see then, beloved, that if you bring the same kind of over-reliance on your me into the guru-disciple relationship, you render the guru null and void automatically, because you always are going to override whatever instruction the guru gives you that is not consistent with your I think and but for me. But for me, punctuality is not necessary. But for me, regular, consistent, full-time practice is not necessary. But for me, satsang going. But for me, the cooler process. But for me, it's always this but for me, always exempting you. Notice it. The but for me always exempt you from that which is going to cause you some discomfort. That's all you're really saying. Just a cover up. And if you listen to it, it sounds like it's some kind of real cogent argument, but for me, this has to be a certain way because I have this unique physiological concern, whatever it is. But no, you're just saying, but for me, that shit is uncomfortable, And that's why I don't think I need to do it. There's nothing esoteric about it. They give you all that esoteric, metaphysical, psychological. No. Your but for me simply means that shit is uncomfortable. And I ain't gonna do it. You see, because you can defeat their argument because usually the ego ain't that bright. So you can no, it can't be like that. Then they go irrational on you. Well, I don't care. It's how I feel. It's just how I feel.
That's me. Way I am.
I know it doesn't make sense, but that's how I feel. It's how I feel. Trump's truth, Trump's logic, Oh, God. So, consider these things as in your upcoming coolers, and see what you all can do differently to get past that block. See if you can come out of this I think but for me syndrome. Then something is possible for you. But as long as you're relying on what you think, nothing happens. It's just going to be more of the same old stuff. All right. Is there anything else? All right, Rashid. All right, Roger Vitta. You can play Bilal's song now. Thank you, Bhagwan. This is just absolutely.
Ain't that beautiful? Not saying who's wrong or who's right. So let's not go on with this madness. If we do, it will only end up in sadness. Can we skip that part?
Let's skip that.